What if Goku was betrayed part 1? Let's go. Now, I know this is a little bit of a different video than I would usually do, but I wanted to try something different, and since I love Dragon Ball and Goku, why not? So, sit back, relax, and enjoy What If Goku Was Betrayed part 1. Now, our story starts on a remote, unknown planet, where many deities and angels collected themselves, and as a collective decided that Son Goku was a threat to the multiverse. After all of them having witnessed the monstrosity of the Tournament of Power, they decided that they could not risk something like this ever happening again, and so they knew they needed to do something about it. Most notably were the gods of destructions plotting against Son Goku, as the angels were usually relaxed, and the other gods tried to look for a peaceful resolution, but the gods of destruction were not having it. Some thought about straight up Hakkaiing Goku, but others said that that would not be possible. Having witnessed the mastered Ultra Instinct being mastered in less than 48 minutes, Hakkaiing someone like that would not be easy. And as discussion continued, a shining light appeared above them. In it, the Daishinkan, father of all angels, and lord only to Zeno himself, rumored to be among the strongest in the multiverse. His authority was absolute. Whilst all the gods, except obviously the angels, bowed to the Daishinkan, he told them that he was not there to punish them for talking behind Zeno-sama's back about someone he cared about, but rather, he would help them. The gods of destruction didn't really want to ask their angel partners for help against Goku, since they knew if they did that, it would go against the Daishinkan's rule, as it was a rule that the angels must not use their full power, and especially not use their power to harm someone else. They were merely there to guide the god of destruction and train him if necessary. But with the Grand Priest's approval, this rule was nullified. Well, only for this exception, but still, they now had the angels and the Grand Priest himself on their side. Getting rid of Goku would be mere child's play. Sure, he had surpassed at least some of the God of Destructions, even if just briefly, but the angels were leagues above any of them, and the Grand Priest was in a whole other dimension, completely unmatched. But someone important who was also in the conversation was Beerus and Whis, as well as obviously Shin, though he didn't have much to say as the God of Destruction respected power. And even the Supreme Kai himself wasn't that powerful, at least not compared to any gods of destruction. But Beerus was powerful, one of the strongest gods of destruction. And Whis wasn't too weak either. He wasn't the strongest of the angels, but he definitely wasn't the weakest. They didn't know what to say at first, especially Beerus. He did kind of want Goku to become his own successor, but after seeing him take more of the pacifistic route and tend more to Whis' teachings, perhaps he could not sway him to become a god of destruction, and rather he would want to become an angel, if that was even possible. Beerus himself didn't really know, as the angels were far more ancient than any of the gods of destruction. All he knew is that they were all related, so it was probably not possible for Goku to become one, but still, if any mortal could do it, it would be him. That aside, however, Whis, without even discussing with the others, agreed to the other universe's plan, as the Grand Priest nodded with approval. He was proud of his own son for recognizing that even though it was a mortal that he had generated himself, he was a danger to the rest of the mortals and even the gods. If he continued to rile up Zeno, especially now that there are two of them, it could have serious problems, as if there's ever one that doesn't wish back all the other universes or something along the lines of it, well, they have problems. The gods of destruction were kinda scared of Goku, since all of them, except for Beerus, were, even if just temporarily, erased from existence along with their entire universe, and anyone except for their angel partner that they potentially cared about. And so they all agreed that Goku must be dealt with. The Grand Priest himself offered to lend a hand and distract Zeno from ever even noticing that Goku was gone. Meanwhile, the other gods and angels would deal with Goku. They would turn to Whis and Beerus, as they knew their own universe the best. And so they first talked with Goku's family, Vegeta, Bulma, Chi-Chi, Gohan, etc. Obviously the kids didn't need to know. Whilst they weren't happy, they understood where the gods were coming from. It made sense after all. Goku did risk the lives of billions and trillions of people, and that was not so easily glanced over. Vegeta especially offered to help. He knew that if he did not succumb to the gods' wishes, Earth, and perhaps even their entire universe, would be annihilated. And so, Vegeta lured Goku into training, similarly to how they had done before the Universe 6 vs Universe 7 tournament, training in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. Here they trained together for a whole year as to truly get Goku's trust. In that time, they got an idea. What if Bulma could build an even stronger and more extreme Hyperbolic Time Chamber for them to train perhaps even better and faster, where one day could be perhaps 10 years instead of only one. It would be truly great, and they could train much longer and much better. And so Vegeta made the excuse that he was gonna go out for even a few minutes to tell Bulma to start working on it, as it would probably take a while. Meanwhile, Goku trained for a few days, as minutes outside are entire days in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. But then a week passed, and 2, and 3, and he noticed Vegeta was not coming back. He obviously couldn't sense anyone else's ki, as he was in a completely other dimension. Meanwhile, on the outside, Vegeta was a little bit sad that he had to do this, but he knew it was for the greater good, and if it would save his own as well as Kakarot's family, he was sure that Kakarot himself would have wanted him to do this, or even done it himself. When Vegeta told the gods that it was done, and Goku was trapped in there, after knowing that Vegeta would succeed, they reversed time by 5 minutes and fortified the outside of the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, so no one could escape except for Vegeta through the entrance, and then they would break it. They used Kachin metal, 10 meters thick, on the outside of the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. As soon as Vegeta was out, the door was locked as well with the same material. And then, to be extra sure, the Grand Priest himself put the entire Hyperbolic Time Chamber in another separate pocket dimension that he would carry it on himself, just to be 100% sure that this never happened again. Goku could not escape. It was impossible. And even powering up to Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20, there was not a single crack in the walls of the time chamber. He was truly stuck. Realizing this, he immediately went into Super Saiyan 3 with a pure amount of anger. Then that anger turned into frustration, and then into sadness. On the outside, on that same remote, unknown planet, in a space between universes, the deities, gods, and angels were having a feast, with food from all around the multiverse, but especially popular was the food from Earth, brought by Beerus and Whis. Indeed, you heard right, they were having a party. They had peace in the multiverse, and were completely happy about the current situation. They had sacrificed one, but saved potential trillions, and that was worth it. Beerus was still quite sad, but he realized that he had a successor. Vegeta was a great successor. He had a sane heart that Beerus Snow would in the future protect his universe, and Vegeta would definitely actually complete the tasks of a destroyer. Sure, there weren't many inhabited planets because of Frieza, but Vegeta would definitely do very well. And he likely wouldn't sleep as long as Beerus does, so that's going for him. Whis didn't seem too sad. Sure, he was sad since Goku could have become his apprentice, but realistically, Whis is old, very old, and he's had many apprentices. He didn't bond as much with all of them, but he definitely had his favorites. Goku was on that favorite list, but he wasn't the only one. And he knew that more like him would come. Even if it took 1,000,000 years, there would be a new apprentice, perhaps even a friend. Whis wasn't sad. He was hopeful for the future. Now, back to Earth. Gohan and Chi-Chi would reminisce. Perhaps this was the right thing for Earth and its inhabitants, and the right thing for the multiverse. They themselves knew about the billions and trillions of people that had died due to Goku's decision of wanting to fight stronger people. Obviously, that was selfish. They knew that. And so, after hours of crying, they were hopeful. There could probably, hopefully, perhaps, finally be true peace on planet Earth. Panning back to Goku. Goku, after still now being in Super Saiyan 3 for multiple days on end due to his pure frustration and sadness, as well as anger, he started meditating. And slowly through the days, he powered down. Not forcefully, but his body relaxed. First down to Super Saiyan 2, then to Super Saiyan 1, then down to an enraged aura, and then to normal. Goku was once again his normal self, and when that happened, he passed out. He was using an incredible amount of ki and had been preserving Super Saiyan 3, one of the hardest forms he had ever had, respecting his ki, that is, and had it activated for multiple days. It was a huge stress on his body, and now he slept for weeks. After sleeping for almost a month, 28 days to be exact, he woke up full of energy and determined. He would break out of his prison and right his wrongs. He would personally apologize to each person in the multiverse that got destroyed and erased due to Zeno and his own actions if he needed to. He was determined to finally, truly be a good person. He would leave his Saiyan being behind and stop having the need to fight stronger and stronger opponents. He just wants to help. And clearly, so far, that didn't work. He was trapped by gods of the multiverse, and even by his own friend, almost brother, and rival, Vegeta. They'd lived through so much, and this is how it ends? It can't be. It couldn't be. Goku had enough, and now he was determined to break out of this prison. He first meditated for 10 years on end without sleeping, eating, or drinking. His emotions fueled him. He didn't have the need to eat anymore, and sleep was basically irrelevant. After 10 years of non-stop meditating, he was still at 100% concentration, the same as when he started. as when he finally decided to stop meditating and wake up from his almost trance, he realized he was different. Sure, he had grown a beard, but that was not the difference he meant. He felt faster, more agile, and when he looked at a mirror in the bathroom, his hair was white, completely white. Not mere strands of hair like in the Ultra Instinct Omen, but this was fully. Like he saw in the reflection of Jiren's eyes during their battle. This was the mastered Ultra Instinct, the one he used to dominate the battle, and even surpass the gods of destruction themselves. Goku now started training, and even though he started to lose even the tiniest bit of energy, he was concentrated and determined. He was so fast, his own eyes couldn't keep up with his body, and he saw mirages of himself. Sure, he didn't have a training partner, but he had trained so much in his life, where he even knew what his opponents would do, especially someone like Vegeta, or at least what he used to be, Gohan, especially a little bit prior to the Cell games. But someone like Vegeta, he knows him in and out. He knows him and his every move. He knows his every fiber. He could replicate his each muscle. And with a little bit amount of concentration, he started fighting an imaginary opponent. And in mere seconds, this opponent turned out to be Vegeta. Black, pointy hair started forming, and the stern, serious look that was so used to the Saiyans stared right into Goku's soul. He was not punching mere air, he was fighting the spirit of Vegeta. This was shadow boxing. Though Goku was truly fighting a real opponent. At least that's what it felt like. But that's gonna be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!